I just moved into this house with my wife and kids about a month ago. It's been fun, cleaning the house up, moving our stuff in. There's something I really like about the feeling of just starting over at a new house with new neighbors and a new job. Well, yesterday I found something pretty weird. I was cleaning up the attic, cleaning up the spider webs and the questionable stains on the outdated carpet, when I found it. It was a weird diary, presumably written by the previous owner of the house. I've typed the entirety of the diary out, and I'm posting it here. I know that you'll think this is just another crappy internet story that I made up, but I swear this is actually what it says. It's quite disturbing, to say the least. Day 1. My name is Jake Selmore. I'm writing this in the middle of the night because, well, I don't have anything else to do. I'll try to relay the odd events that have happened these past few days to you best I can. However, please pardon any writing mistakes that I may make, as I'm in a very tired state. I've always been an insomniac. Ever since I was a child, I've always just had problems with falling asleep. However, after hours of twisting and turning in bed, once I finally managed to fall asleep, I've always slept like a rock, and I've always had trouble waking up. As you can imagine, this really helped to disrupt my life and make my life harder. Yeah, I've tried alarm clocks, but I somehow managed to sleep right through them every time. Unfortunately, this little problem carried into adulthood, and a night of normal sleep was a blessing from God. I've gotten fired from 2 jobs already, and I've been working at McDonald's down the road that doesn't care too much if I show up late. Now, the reason I bring this up is that my problem is related to this inconvenience. At least, I hope it is. I pray that this is just a particularly bad bout of insomnia, and not some strange supernatural thing that I can't explain. But anyways, you're most likely very confused on what exactly I'm talking about. Well, it all started this morning, or midnight to be exact. I remember waking up suddenly, being pulled from sleep. I don't remember why I woke up the way I did, so suddenly, but I'm pretty sure it was from a nightmare I don't remember. Anyways, I remember waking up and looking at the clock on my bedside table and seeing it that read 12:19 a.m. I found this very odd, considering that I was a very deep sleeper and I normally didn't wake up until late in the morning or early in the afternoon. I tried to fall back asleep, but I found that I just kept tossing and turning, and I couldn't find a comfortable position to sleep in. After a while, I got up, went to the kitchen, and made myself a glass of warm milk. I know a lot of people say it doesn't really work, but I just wanted to get back to bed. I made myself a glass, and I felt myself relax, but I still wasn't drowsy. It was as if my body had been woken up, and now I was ready for the day. I made myself another glass, but that still wasn't enough to make me sleepy. I sat in bed and stared at the ceiling, trying to will myself to sleep. I turned the temperature down, as maybe the heat in my room was keeping me from sleep. I even tried the stupid cliche of counting sheep, but that didn't work either. Once it hit 2 in the morning, I got out my laptop and started to look over the internet to try and find anything funny, hoping this internet browsing will make me tired. I was on my computer watching cat memes and gaming videos until 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's where I reluctantly accepted that I wasn't going to fall asleep and that I should probably just start getting ready for work. I slipped on my pants and shirt, went to put a bagel in the toaster, and began to prepare a cup of coffee. I passed a picture of my wife on the way there. She had died from cancer about a year back, and life's been really tough without her. She always used to wake up on the right time and would then wake me up. She would always really help on the busy days where I had to get to work on time. Katie was really sweet. Anyways, this isn't about her. I heard the bagel pop up in the toaster just as I noticed the sky begin to get brighter. I took it out and slathered it with cream cheese, and I heard the beep of the coffee maker. I arrived at work around 8 o'clock, the usual time. I drank a little 10-hour energy before leaving, as I was worried I would fall asleep at the deep fryer since I had woken up so early. Once I arrived, I greeted my manager, Ted. "Well, Jake," he said in his deep voice, "you're here early. Normally you were a bit late." "Nice work." "Thanks, sir," I responded. I woke up really early this morning and I couldn't fall back asleep. "Oh, happens to me all the time," he said with a chuckle. He turned around and pulled a ring of keys out of his pocket, found the right one, and he unlocked the door to the McDonald's. "Go start up those fryers," he said, walking inside. I went to the kitchen area and started up the fryers as I put on my apron. I stood by while the fryers started up, humming. I happened to take a glance out the window, and then I saw it. Or at least, I think I did. I saw a dark shape, something tall, unnaturally so. It was in the shape of a man, but I could tell it was something else entirely. I only got a quick glimpse of it, but it was enough to haunt my thoughts. Its eyes were human, although there was something horribly wrong about them. They were very wide. They had no irises, just a large white eye with a too small black dot in the middle. Its eyes were staring into mine, and in the quick glimpse I got, I could tell there was something behind them. The second it realized that I had seen it, it dashed behind a nearby tree with unnatural speed, before I could make out any more distinguishable features. I felt the blood rush out of my face as I stared at the spot where I had just stood. "Are you okay?" The voice startled me from my thoughts as I whipped around. It was my coworker, who had just come in, Martin. Yeah, I'm fine," I replied. "I had trouble sleeping last night. I'm just seeing things." "Okay," he said, walking towards the grill. "If you say so." I turned back towards the window as if this would make the thing reappear. "Seeing things," I thought to myself. You were just seeing things. This thought put me at ease, as it meant what I had seen wasn't real. Of course I was seeing things. I had trouble sleeping last night. That's all it was. Or maybe it's something with the 10-hour energy it took. It's fine. I didn't see the thing for the rest of my shift, but I kept thinking I would look up to see it right at my window, staring at me with those dead eyes. I scolded myself for thinking this. At the end of my day, I said goodbye to my coworkers, gathered up my stuff, and headed outside to my car. A few minutes later, there was a traffic jam on the highway that I unfortunately got stuck in. I think there was a car crash a mile up ahead or something. Damn it, I muttered to myself as I honked the horn. I was just sitting there, moving my car forwards inches at a time, when I happened to look out my car window and see him again. He was closer this time, and taller it seemed. It was peeking from behind a tree a few yards away from my car. It was then I noticed that there was a large white smile plastered on its face. I locked eyes with those dead eyes as they stared into my soul. After a few seconds of us staring at each other, it ducked its head behind the tree. I was hyperventilating. This couldn't be real. It just couldn't. I was snapped back to reality by the sounds of cars honking behind me, and I pulled up a bit. I shook my head. This is stupid, I thought to myself. You're just seeing things. I was trying to convince myself at this point. I hope that this was just as simple as that. I still do. Eventually, I got to my house and made myself dinner, microwave burrito. I went to take a warm shower. Afterwards, it was getting late, so I crawled in bed and tried to just go to sleep. but somehow I still wasn't tired. I shrugged. It wasn't that late. It was around 7:30. I pulled out my trusty laptop again and began to internet surf. I did this for a while, hoping to eventually get drowsy and fall back asleep, but with no luck. Eventually, I looked at the clock and it read 10:04 p.m. I must have been on the laptop longer than I thought, but you guessed it, I still wasn't tired. I looked up ways to fall asleep, but everything I tried seemed to fail. Once it hit midnight, I gave up and started to write this. Like I said, I just have nothing else to do, and I need to tell someone, even if it's just a piece of paper. If this continues, then I'll write again tomorrow, I guess. If not, then I'll just throw this away. I'll try to fall asleep now. I hope I can. Day 2. Alright, this is getting really weird. I wasn't able to fall back asleep last night. I just sat in my bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to my own breathing, when I began to hear birds chirping. I looked at my clock and sure enough, it read 4 in the morning. This is getting ridiculous, I remember thinking. I decided that if I wasn't feeling tired later today, I would call a doctor. My blood ran cold as I remembered a disease I had heard about somewhere that doesn't allow you to sleep and then you die. I got up begrudgingly and walked to the kitchen to make some cereal and coffee. It was here, while I was waiting for my coffee, when I first felt it. I was feeling tired. Only a little bit. I smiled to myself, excited. I decided that I would take a day off work for just a lazy day. I called my boss, and he said it was fine, and that I did look a little pale yesterday. I hung up, went to eat my breakfast, and went to my room, where I was hoping to drift off into sleep. I lay down on my bed and closed my eyes, but sleep still wouldn't come. Even though I felt tired and my head was placed on a soft pillow, my mind was still abuzz. I decided to stay there for a while so that I could get the rest I needed. But after an hour of just sitting in my bed, I was really tired, but I just couldn't fall asleep. I groaned in frustration. Then I realized that it might be the light coming from the open window, making it so I couldn't sleep. I got up, walking over to my window, and started to pull the curtains shut. But before I did fully, I caught a glimpse of something in my yard. Something tall and black. I immediately pulled my curtains open again to make sure I wasn't crazy, but it was gone. I started to feel a shiver coming up my spine, and I began to wonder if I really was just going insane. I got the phone and called my doctor and told him the strangeness of my situation. Afterwards, he told me I was most likely just experiencing small hallucinations due to lack of sleep, and that he'd mail me some sleeping pills. I thanked him and hung up the phone. He said that they'd be there tomorrow, and I can't wait to try them. I hope that they help me. I just saw something looking at me from the crack in my curtains. Jesus. Day 3. The doctor's pills came in today. They didn't help. Damn. I took 3 of those things, and I still couldn't fall asleep, even though it made me even more tired. I don't know what's going on anymore. I saw the weird shadow man quite a few times today. Every time I look at him, he disappears somewhere. I once saw him in an alleyway while I was passing in my car. I put my car into reverse to see if he was still there, but he was gone. I saw him while I was getting my mail. He was inside one of my friend's open garages. I swear, I even saw him on my roof while I was taking a walk. Once, when I saw him at the park near my house, I snapped and ran towards him at full force, trying to get to him to find out what the hell was going on. However, once I got to him, he had somehow vanished. I still can't sleep, but I'm so tired. I just want this to stop. I don't know why he's following me. Every time I see him, I feel his smile is wider, like he's taunting me. Oh God, I just want to sleep. Day 4. I'm so tired. Day 5. It's getting closer. I can feel it. I saw him in my house. He's never gone in my house before. I just looked in my doorway. He was just standing there, staring at me. For a second, I just stared there, frozen. I expected it to just disappear after a second of me staring, but it didn't. It's getting braver. It's getting closer. I bolted up and ran to the door. I slammed it shut and locked it. For a few minutes, I heard it breathing on the other side. Then it left. I still can't sleep. It doesn't matter. I don't think I would, even if I could. Every time I close my eyes, I see that thing's eyes staring directly into mine. Its smile. I think this will be my last entry. I'm so tired. I see it directly outside my window now. It's clawing at the grass. It's clawing at the glass. I think I'll let it in. Maybe it can put me to sleep. So tired. The handwriting gets really bad at the last few lines, and it took me a good few minutes to uncover what they said. I've been doing a little more research on the previous owner of this house, and apparently his name was Jake Selmore, just like the diary says. And it seems that about a year before we moved into this house, he was found dead in his room. No visible cause of death, and his autopsy reported that this sudden passing was odd. His body just seemed to have shut down. I'm wondering if maybe this man wasn't right in the head, or if this is some kind of elaborate prank. I hope it is, because this morning I woke up at around 1 o'clock and I couldn't get back to bed, and I keep getting the faint sensation that I'm being watched. Hey guys, thanks for listening. It's me, Quivers. I really hope you enjoyed this story that I wrote and narrated for you guys. If you want to see more content by me, then make sure to subscribe. That would really help me out a lot. Please consider liking the video and checking out some of my other stories. Anyways, until next time, guys. Bye. Thanks for listening.